Today we're going to be making these earrings, and they're out of paper. I don't know about you, but I have a ton of paper that I have from all the different techniques that I've done. What you see here is a National Geographic Citrusol technique, but I also did Momigami with it, making it more like fabric. Here's a couple other pieces of Momigami, and then the original National Geographic image, and I printed it on my home printer on regular copy paper. Suminagashi is a Japanese art of marbling paper where you float ink on top of the water, make a design, and then you take your paper and lay it on top of the water, and the design is absorbed by the paper. So let's get started and make some earrings out of paper. Besides the paper, there's a couple things that you might want to have at hand. First, you'll have your paper, of course, and then I have a pair of needle nose type pliers. I've got a pair of round nose pliers, a flat nose plier, X-Acto knife, wire cutters, a ruler. I use a bone folder for my folds. I've got an 11/0 seed bead. I've got 2-inch head pins and 4mm jump rings. I've also got some glue, which I really won't need because of the style and way that we're going to build these earrings. But some people like to glue their origami bead together. But the head pin is really what's going to hold everything together. And then this Maker's Magic will protect and waterproof the earrings if you want to cover them for extra protection. So let's get started. This is the style of earring we're going to make today. I'm just going to show you one earring of each type of paper. Right here are a total of 4 1 3/4 inch squares made out of Momigami paper. To show you the actual origami fold, I am going to show you the fold on a larger sheet of paper. This is a bead that I made earlier. It's some Suminagashi paper that I chose, and I'm just sliding it apart. And this piece of paper is a 3-inch square. To get started, you'll take your square and you have your pretty side and your plain side. First thing you're going to do, take the pretty side down, flip it over, fold it over to a triangle. Once you have your triangle, you're going to go ahead and open it up, turn your paper over, and now we're going to fold it over and make a rectangle. We're going to open it again, turn it, fold it in half, and make a rectangle. Open it again, and you'll notice you have these mountain folds here from your original, your first diagonal fold. That leaves us with these squares made by our rectangle fold. You're going to take the corner of that square and bring it to the center. It's a little easier if you turn it, then you can exactly see where you're folding, and take this corner over to the center. And now it's a little easy because I have it already pre-folded, but what you're going to do is it'll naturally fall into place. You have these that fold into the center, your diagonal fold, the original diagonal fold, they will fold into the center, and you want to make sure the corners of your squares are in the center, and you're going to bring it all together so that it looks like a boat, a little sailboat. Okay, you do that again on the second, and what makes the bead is when you slide them together. They have these slits. I'm taking one on either side. You've got pockets right here on your boat, right here, and that's where each of the sails will go. They'll slide right in, front and back. They'll slide right in together, nice and snug. This is where some people like to glue the flaps that go into the pocket. But with the earrings that we're making today, we have a head pin that will hold them together from each point. It'll hold it together in that fashion. So now that you've seen how it's done on the larger scale, let's go ahead and take some paper that we've already treated. This is Momigami paper, and the Momigami paper was done with the actual design is from a National Geographic technique that I did. So let's get started here. We're going to fold it in the diagonal format. See, it's going to be... The one thing about the Momigami paper you'll notice is that it doesn't accept the crease as much because it's already been processed, but it's okay. It still works. It works great. And then we open it up, and then we flip it over, and we're going to fold it over so that we have a rectangle. And I use a bone folder here to help make the crease. So we open it up, we turn it once around, fold it again, and open it up. So you find your diagonals right there, and we have a square here and a square here. And then what we're going to do is take that point into the center. We want to bring that up to the center, fold that down, and turn it, and bring the other to the center, fold it. There we go. Now this is where we start to pull it all together to make our sailboat. So we got this right here, and you want to make sure these little points down here all come in so that they're nice and tight. And there's our sailboat. So I'm going to go ahead and make the other one. Fold it in a diagonal with the not so pretty outside. Open it up, flip it over, fold it in half. Open it up, turn it, fold it once again to make a rectangle. Open it up, find my diagonals. Here they are right here. And I got my squares. Take the corner of the first square to the center, fold it down. Second square to the center. Fold it down. And now to make our sailboat. Find those right there. Okay, pull them in. Some are a little more difficult. You'll find it a little bit easier on paper that hasn't actually been processed like the Momigami, but it's still, these are beautiful when they're done. So I got my sailboat. Okay, we have that all complete. Now, to show you how they go together, we take our sails, and they're each going to slide into one of the pockets. You want to make sure the pocket is there. Goes into that pocket, and you slide it together. And here is your first earring. So now that we have our bead made, let's go ahead and make an earring out of it. We're going to take it apart. We'll take our bead apart. And the first thing we're going to want to know, which direction do we want our earring to go? Do we want these to match? What are the color combinations that you want them to be? I'm going to go ahead and do it like this. So this is going to be the bottom. And one of the tools I forgot to mention in the beginning is a needle. And what I'm going to do with the needle is find the center of my sailboat. And I'm going to poke a hole. Okay, we got the bottom here. And I'm going to do the same for the top bead. Find the center, which is real easy to find, and it doesn't take a whole lot to go ahead and get your center. And poke a hole. Okay, so we've got our hole in the top and in the bottom, and you're going to take a 2-inch head pin. A head pin is a piece of wire that has a head on the bottom, which will help prevent it from coming out through the bottom of your bead. So I like to add a little cushion, so I'm going to go ahead and add a seed bead to this. It will sit at the bottom, and I will take the bottom of my bead. There we go. And push everything back together, and you notice the head pin now is right in the center, and I have my bead and the head pin. I will then connect everything as we had done. Put these beads in there, and I want to make sure that the head pin comes through the hole that I made. Make sure all of my sails are tucked into the pockets. It can feel a little odd at first, but it's okay. It falls into place. Okay, so we've got our head pin all the way through from the bottom to the top, which will now hold everything in place. Except what I want you to see here is I didn't have alternating sails. And what happened is they aren't interlocking then. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that this is in the back and this is in the front with the head pin going through the top of it. So this comes over here, and there we go. We want them to each be interlocking. So that's good that that happened. There we go. Okay, so now that we have our head pin through our bead, I want to go ahead and I'm going to add 2 seed beads. Now this may fly around. They do fly around. There's one. And you'll find that this wants to kind of fall out, so I'm kind of careful to hold it. And let's see, yep, that one tried to fall off. So let's see if we can do this here. Seed beads are a little tricky. They're so tiny. There we go. Okay, now that we have the seed beads on and the head pin in place and everything is connected, we're going to have to close this top so that we can add a jump ring and an earring. So I want my earring front to be this. I'm going to take and fold this at a 90-degree angle towards me. I'm going to take my small nose, round nose pliers, and I'm going to roll this around and bring this around, turn it around, and we're going to roll this a little bit more. There we go. So that I have this little, it's almost like a keyhole opening. And then I'm going to trim off the edge, making sure to hold on to that little piece that just fell off. So we have now a little closing here. So we want to close that off. So our jump ring, well, actually we can just put our jump ring on and then close it up. So we're going to put a 4mm jump ring on and make sure that's there and close this tight so that nothing falls off. Okay, there we go. So now all we have to do is add our earring wire, and I've made a couple of those in advance, and for that you can see I have a video on how to make these earring wires on your own. There's 2 ways, one with an easy wire maker and then one by just using you know, your hands to make the earring wire. So I'm going to just open it a little bit, and here we go. And then we're going to just close that up, bring it straight forward, and then just round that closed, and you've got yourself an earring. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing what you've done. Enjoy.